We started the farm because there were no good options for people to actually eat pork like you have at high-end restaurants in, say, Spain or France. My name is Jared. I'm the secret, silent third Todd brother. I like to operate behind the scenes and help Seth and Keenan, who are the much better farmers than me, build Acorn Bluff Farms.
Grandpa and Grandma both grew up on farms.
My dad didn't, and we didn't, but everyone before us had grown up on the farm. I think I was in second grade, and Dad bought a few cows. Well, we still have said cows, plus a few more.
So Dad always rented this pasture out here.
We were spending time out there. When I was in high school, I went out in the summers and helped. My brother wanted someplace to live here, and he wanted someplace in the country, and we already had Dad's cattle on that pasture, and thought he might kind of like to live in that house.
And then after I bought this, we wanted to get our own, livestock.
We only had a few acres available. Pigs made a lot more sense because cattle, you need several acres potentially per cow. With pigs, you can run a lot of them in a small area and still do it regeneratively.
So Seth did research into a number of different pig breeds. We looked at Berkshires, we looked at Mulefoot. Then he found Mangalitsa. I was like, dang, those look pretty tasty. Found some on Craigslist, so we drove to Minnesota.
Put all the little baby pigs in a topper and threw some bags of ice in there to keep them cool and drove them home.
Mangalitsa's, they just taste the best. They have the darkest red meat. They have the whitest fat. If you compare them to Wagyu beef, the Wagyu beef take longer to get to market than the standard beef. That allows more flavor to be there. Same thing with ours. They take longer to get to market. A standard hog that you just go to the grocery store and buy, they're looking for that efficiency of how fast can we get weight on the pigs. They're looking at how many pounds can we create per year.
You get a chop from the grocery store and it's like, this is not the greatest. It's just pretty dry, especially when they really push that pork, the other white meat.
Fat is bad craze, they bred the fat out of them. Fat is flavor. There's fat between muscles and there's fat in muscles. Fat in muscles is called marbling, which our pigs do. That's going to make your meat cook much more evenly and be much more consistent. The majority of pigs do not marble.
Good pork actually has a lower rate of what's called PUFAs, or polyunsaturated fatty acids, which have been shown to cause a lot of negative health effects. It's much healthier to eat good pork, especially if it's raised outdoors, that's eaten things beyond just corn and soybeans.
So a confinement hog, they live a cushy life. Temperature is consistently kept in a very happy range for them to gain weight. Doesn't get too hot, doesn't get too cold. Whereas we're just looking at, all right, our breed hasn't changed since the 1860s. And they're just a hardy breed. We want to put them outside. We farrow spring and fall twice a year. That piglet is born and it is outdoors 100% of the time. We actually have a local farmer that we get melons from, his excess melons, so we're gonna start calling it melon finished pork. We have several local folks who collect acorns for us to finish the pork, an ancient tradition that actually dates back to Rome. We rotate the pigs, and they're raised outdoors on pasture. They have wallows, and they live very, very happy lives. We want a resilient system that's going to work with nature for the health of the pig, for the health of the land. It's just two different philosophies. Theirs is going to be a fast-growing pig. Ours is going to be a slow-growing, delicious pig. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and if you just treat pork as a source of protein only and you just, shovel it down your face, yeah, that's fine. But for just a little bit more cost, you can actually enjoy and savor one of the most important things we do as people, which is eat. It's not just for sustenance, it's to live. We have a local supper club. They do this once a month, and their supper club is 100% local produce, local meat. Everything is sourced here. When the chef texts me and he's like, hey, do you have any pork chops? I'm like, well, how many do you want? And then the next Wednesday at my wife's coffee shop, one of our regulars comes in. She goes, I want to tell you, I go to the supper club. Oh my gosh, your pork chop? Amazing.
Yeah, this is like steak.
Everyone loves the pork. I actually don't think I've ever met someone who didn't really like it or love it. It completely redefines what pork means to them. It's eye-opening because people don't know that pork can taste like this. It's a different ballgame. When you cook ours to the proper temperature, it still can be a little pink in the middle, and it's safe to eat, right? You're not just drying it out. It's not the other white meat or the other red meat. Chefs love it, but also interestingly, people who don't even really cook that much also love it. It's not only flavorful, but it also has this deep umami flavor that permeates whatever you're cooking with. So even if you just make the sausage for, say, breakfast sandwiches or pasta, completely adds a complexity to the dish that anyone can appreciate. Those first customers were coming back and they're like, all right, when can we get more? That is the best pork I've ever had.
And we gave some to my other brother who was living in Chicago at the time, and he had some friends over from work, and they're like, "Where'd you get this?" He's like, my brother's raised it. Pretty good, don't you think? And they're like, "It's amazing. Can we buy some?" I was like, "Let's do it." And we started to sell to them. I'm like, if we're sending 100 pounds of pork back with him to Chicago to distribute to his friends, I think we can ship it.
I mean, it was like a good side gig at first, but then we kind of figured out like it needed to either expand or stop. We weren't gonna go anywhere just selling 6 pigs a year locally or whatever.
When we added the ability to ship nationwide, we had to find a USDA certified butcher plant, and then we also had to find state inspected storage and get that all spun up. And we did both. We sent out a press release, not thinking anything would happen. A reporter came out from a fairly small local paper and wrote an article. Well, the article had such good reception, ended up on the front page of the Des Moines Register, ended up in the San Francisco Chronicle, and honestly, a large percentage of major newspapers in the country. We sold out of every single piece of pork we had on the farm, and that really vaulted the farm forward. And then from there, it's been steady growth ever since. And what we want to do more than anything is deliver the absolute best tasting pork in the world to people on their doorsteps.
We have a number of people who order that we ship. We ship to the lower 48. There's one lady in particular, she grew up in Czech Republic around where the Austro-Hungarian Empire was. And she was like, "This is the meat that I grew up eating, and I haven't had it since I moved to America." Sold it to a guy who made it for his mom. She grew up on a farm. She grew up with outdoor hogs, dirt hogs. She's like, "This is what I remember from my childhood." We actually ship all of our spare ribs to Austin, Texas, to a barbecue joint. He makes our Mangalitsa ribs, and he had Daniel Vaughn, Texas Monthly barbecue critic, come, and Daniel Vaughn tried those and said, "This is the best pork rib I've had. It's rich, it's full, it's flavorful, crispy texture, but still juicy and melt in your mouth and the inside."
As we grow and scale, our goal is to continue to do this in a regenerative manner and be more and more regenerative. And as we get bigger and we're able to bring this pork to more people, we're going to be able to do things like add ducks rotating behind the pork, add more beef cattle. We have some, but add more. We really have a strong demand for lamb, so we'd love to add sheep. But in order to do that, we got to sell some pork.
Our long-term vision at Acorn Bluff is we want to raise pigs even better and raise even more of them and sell them to more people.
We want to bring people together as a family and to do so around really good food.